Welcome, Trish. An hour early for our call this morning. Trish sent a message going, "What's happening with Zoom?" Well, thank you for being so enthusiastic. You set your alarm clock an hour early, Trish. We really appreciate you being here. You are very enthusiastic.
You're a legend, Trish.
And welcome, Shoka. Thank you for joining us as well. It's now 5:15. Welcome, everybody. Donald, I have the pleasure of being your co-host today alongside Kendra Strudwick. As always, each morning and each day, to create a space where we hope to support you to navigate these times, to feel like that you are connected to our community, and to build some habits while we're here. We hope that in this 15 minutes, you can slow down and hopefully leave feeling a bit more calm, connected, and positive. So welcome from people starting their day on the other side of the world, and welcome to the people who are finishing their day at this side of the world. Very brief housekeeping before I hand over to Kendra. We want to make it as interactive as possible, as always. So encourage you to, after our reflective exercises, to type some of your responses into the chat box. And if you're watching on Facebook Live, please feel free to use the best way to support you to benefit from this session. Without further ado, I'd like to hand over to my wonderful co-host, Kendra Strudwick.
Yeah, thanks, Ronan. No one says Strudwick like you do. Welcome, everyone. Let's just take a moment to get into our bodies and to fully arrive. So I feel like doing a bit of a body scan exercise today. So I want you to sit up straight in your chair as though there's a big thread pulling you up from your crown. So straighten your back, put your feet firmly on the floor. Let's just close our eyes and take the time to tune in to perhaps some parts of us that don't get regular attention. So the first thing I'd like you to notice is your jaw and the muscles in your jaw, the side of your cheeks there. Just want you to relax them, even give them a gentle rub, loosen them up. And the sides of your neck, not so much the back, the sides. Just focus on relaxing and stretching. Again, give those a bit of a rub if you need to. Notice any tension, any soreness. On your shoulders. I want you to just shrug your shoulders. Bring them up to your ears and then down. Up to your ears and then down. Give them a bit of a roll. Just notice any tension that you might be carrying there and let it go. As you tune into your heart, your chest area there, I want you to pop your right hand on your chest where your heart is. And I just want you to give it a little pat, a bit of reassurance. Just notice any tension that might be there and relax, let it go. Sometimes it can help to say your name. Oh, Kendra, it's okay, Kendra. Say your name a few times as you give it a pat. And I just want you to notice your quadriceps. One of the major muscles. They do a great job of holding us up. Just give them a little bit of a rub. See if there's any tension. Just stretch out your calves. Perhaps rotate your ankles anti-clockwise. Do that 8 times. And then swap directions. So go clockwise. If you notice your mind's going, which way is clockwise, which way is anti-clockwise, doesn't matter. Just let it go. Give them a rotation and let all of that tension go. Imagine just the energy levels traveling through your body seamlessly. When you're ready, you can open your eyes and come back into the room. And we'll do our how are you feeling activity. Take a moment to notice how you're feeling, to put a word or two to it. Is there a combination of emotions? Is there an undercurrent, or is there just one that's settling with you or sitting with you? And whatever it is, just identify it and name it. If you're able to and you'd like to, you can type that into the chat box and let us know what's present for you right here, right now. Thanks, Trish. Discombobulated. That's one of my favourite words. I don't even know if it is a word, and I love it. Ronan's grateful. Shloka's focused. I've got a sense of lightness and calmness. Have you been doing this activity throughout the day? Or is the only time you think about it is when you're coming to the Cred.15? Katareya's excited and happy. So let's have a look at our focus areas. And often when we can't control a lot around us, it's nice to think about the things that we can control, to go back to the simplicity of where are we focusing our attention and how we're moving and nurturing our bodies and who we're connecting with on a regular basis. So Ronan, where are we focusing today?
So Kendra, I think we should focus in the area of focus and have a deep dive in today. So one of the topics I've read about today on Twitter has been shared by a psychologist who said they're a bit concerned about some of the articles they're seeing out there about this time of the motivational people and the motivational speakers urging us to use this time of quarantine. So I'm just going to read out a tweet that was shared. If you don't come out of this quarantine with either a new skill, starting what you've been putting off, like a new business, more knowledge, you didn't ever lack the time, you lacked the discipline. And this psychologist said they were very concerned about this type of things. So I just wanted to have a conversation around this with you tonight, Kendra, and share it with our community. So obviously our intention in the Cred.15 is to support people, and we have talked about using this time to help people build new habits, but we also want to support people to have some self-compassion for themselves. As Nicole said on our call the other day, there's no manual for this for people in the frontline services. If you're working in a leadership space, there's no playbook for this. So Kendra, it'd be wonderful to just chat around this for a few minutes to help people navigate this through this time, realize we have some good days and we have some days that are shockers. Not every day is a day of achieving everything, and just being a bit more kind to ourselves. So I can hand over to you, Kendra. Can you share any more insight on that, Kendra?
Yeah, so what comes up for me is, a sense of pressure and responsibility of, am I using this time to make myself and the world better in some way, which is a very yang approach to a yin situation. So the first thing that comes up for me around that is being where you are, and everyone's going to be in different places. In some ways, the playbook that we have to operate from hasn't been written in our lifetime. It was written in previous lifetimes. What we're experiencing now is similar to a world war, in that it's likely to imprint itself on the human psyche for many years to come, for many generations to come. And just soldiering on may not be appropriate. There's this sense of taking care of your basic needs of security, making it, is your house in order. Like, it is about going within and taking that time to reflect and even grieve for the 2020 that promised a lot and isn't delivering what on that promise, perhaps. If you look at just here in Australia, we've had the worst bushfires we can remember. We then had floods, and now we have this. So it's been one thing after another. There's a significant increase in things like post-traumatic stress, and you don't need to be a first responder to be suffering from that. So a lot of this is not about pushing yourself to just get on with it, harden up, soldier on. Part of it is to sit with the grief, the whatever's there for you, and reflect with that and be with that emotion, to not just soldier on regardless. So that's what came up for me, Ronan, as I heard you read out the Twitter comment.
And as I spoke a few minutes ago, we talked about that busyness can be a form of denial for a lot of us, that we're actually making ourselves unbelievably busy as a way of denying what's actually going around. Can you share a bit more about that, Kendra?
Yeah, it's another coping mechanism. So, part of it is the assumption of the busyness is that we're all going to pop out of this in a month. But it might not be a sprint. It's looking like it's going to be a marathon. And if you don't take the time to replenish and renew and sit with what is now, then it's going to pop out again later. So it can be just like binge watching Netflix or oversleeping or drinking too much. It can be another coping mechanism to help us suppress what might be sitting underneath that. And then, we don't necessarily come out the butterflies. Once we leave the cocoon, we'll stay the worm we were. What a bad metaphor, gosh.
No, I understand. I guess, Kendra, now, I think I want to invite people just to reflect on what we said for the last few minutes, and invite people to think about, are you putting yourself under a lot of pressure? Are you thinking that you need to be at the same standards that you were operating at post this event? And what could you do to be a bit more kind to yourself? Just take some moments in reflection. And if you'd like to, please do feel free, and we invite you to type your responses in the chat box. So if you'd like to, we'd welcome you now to type any responses into the chat box.
How could you be kinder to yourself is the question. Yeah, I love that. Katie's been too kind with herself.
You want us to crank it up a notch, Katie. And so maybe just sit with that. So in the remaining minutes, we're going to do a scan of our areas in Cred.15. So in the spirit of what we just talked about, we do have these three areas. So focus, where we're inviting you to think about where should your focus be today. Move, to ensuring that you are doing something to move every day. And connect, we want to ensure that we are making a social connection with someone, having a conversation when we can't physically connect. So just a very brief example. Today I had a pretty busy day. We want to encourage you to think about, can you combine any of these into one activity? So my example today, my son Oscar's been asking me to bring him out by himself for a cycle, and I've been putting it off and putting it off. So today I combined connect with a one-on-one with move with my son. So I went for a run. We had a one-on-one time, and like any 9-year-old boy, he went ahead of me a couple of 100 meters up the road. So I had some time to focus and plan for our session tonight and what we wanted to talk about. So we want to support you to be kind to yourselves as well. So it may not be possible to do everything in one go every day. So maybe think about, if your day is starting, are there any opportunities to combine some things? And if your day is finishing, maybe it's just something you could do tomorrow to combine some of these areas. and be a bit kinder to yourself. Yeah, thank you for sharing, Dave. Run with a mate. Really appreciate it. Ken, did you share the example the other day of walking while you call your friend? I think that's combining the exercise and the connect.
Yeah, walking meetings. I try and do one walking meeting a day.
We've just come to 5:30. Thank you for joining us on our Cred.15 at 5:15. We hope you have a wonderful evening if it's coming towards the end of your day, and a wonderful day if you're starting. Ken and I will be back here at 8:15 again in the morning. Rain, hail, or shine, we're always here. And for those of you who have any questions, we will stay around for a couple of moments. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Bye, folks.